R.E.P.O dropped the monster update for the spooky season, and it's a big one. New features, revamped locations, and most importantly, new monsters that change up the way you play the game. Today we're going to break down these new monsters, and to keep it simple, we're going to go through them by danger level, ranked from 1 to 3. Level 1 monsters are weak, but not necessarily harmless, while level 3 monsters are strong, aggressive, and absolutely something you should run from. Anyway, let's get started. Starting with danger level 1 monsters, joining the ranks of the gnomes, apex predators, and spewers, we have Bella, which is the first new monster that I encountered as well. Bella, to put it simply, is a riderless tricycle, or at least looks like one. Bella actually refers to the invisible rider on said trike. She roams around the location aimlessly, just like the annoying little cousin at parties. She's mostly harmless unless you do something to get in the way of her fun. What do I mean by that though? Well, here are 3 rules to follow. Don't grab the trike, don't touch the trike, don't block the trike. These interrupt her fun and she'll let you know by ringing her bell. You see, Bella goes by the 3-strike rule, and if you've messed with her fun for the 3rd time in a certain span of time, she'll become visible and start quickly chasing and attacking you or the player that bothered her last. If you find yourself in this situation, you better hope that you have a lot of HP left, because her attacks are pretty relentless. However, they are weak. I've survived her attacks plenty of times with full HP, but I can't say so with much less. Next up, we have the Birthday Boy. Similar to Bella, we have the Birthday Boy. And when I say similar, I mean that he'll generally leave you alone if you leave him alone. That, and he kind of looks like Bella, just visible and without the trike. I don't know if this was intentional from the devs, maybe we'll find out later, but I'm not crazy, right? Editor, but can you put them side by side, just so the audience can see what I'm talking about? Anyway, as the name implies, Birthday Boy has some sort of birthday theme going on. You'll know he's spawned into the location by the balloons floating around the room. Now, what aggro's Birthday Boy? Well, if you guessed popping his balloons, you're right, because popping his balloons causes Birthday Boy to head over to the location, and if he spots the player that popped the balloon, will start attacking said player. Similar to Bella, Birthday Boy attacks fast and at 10 HP a pop. What makes him slightly more annoying than Bella is that you can't crouch underneath objects or furniture for safety, because little dude will just crawl under these objects to reach you. What's funny is, like, I was hiding and I thought I was safe, and then he like gets on all fours and starts crawling, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so freaky. I just wasn't expecting it at all. Anyway, just dodge the balloons, forehead. Elsa. Now, unlike Bella and the Birthday Boy, this next monster wants your attention. Elsa is a cute little doggo, and all it wants is to be shown affection. Similar to the apex predator, Elsa will follow players around, but instead of just standing around annoying people with its mere presence, it barks at the player, demanding pets. While you can ignore Elsa for a bit, ignoring her for too long will frustrate her, causing her to transform into a monstrous beast that attacks the player that ignored her. You'll know you failed to please her when her eyes start to glow red, which is the telltale sign that she's about to transform. What I do like about the addition of Elsa is that it adds a disruptive element to the game that isn't just a monster attacking you. Elsa asking players to pet her basically forces player to drop everything they're doing immediately to deal with the situation. For Lethal Company players, it's kind of like the Man-Eater. Also, before I move on, I like how people are like, oh my god, they added Toby Fox to the game because, you know, it's a white dog. Alright, rounding out the level 1 monsters is the Tick, which looks like a face squished into the shape of a bug. Despite its unsettling appearance, the Tick is quite docile actually, easily the chillest of the level 1s. It'll wander the halls without reacting to you at all. It doesn't chase you, and it doesn't care that you exist really, it just literally minds its own business until you interact with it. Touching or grabbing the Tick is not a smart move. The moment you do, it latches onto your grab beam and begins draining your HP at a rate of 10 points per second, up to a maximum of 100 HP. While it drains you, the Tick gradually changes color to show how full it is. It starts orange, turns yellow at the halfway point, shifts to lime as it nears capacity, and finishes as a bright green when it's absorbed the full amount. There are only 2 ways to escape, or to let go of the Tick. You can either slam the Tick against walls and floors to kill it, or if you have enough HP to spare, you can wait for it to finish draining 100 HP. When it is full, it simply drops off, resumes roaming the hallways, completely satisfied with what it's done. If you do choose violence and decide to kill it instead, whatever HP the Tick stole from you or another player is released in a green pollen-like burst. Standing in it restores a portion of that health, letting you reclaim what the Tick has drained. Anyway, overall the Tick's harmless unless you choose to bother it. Moving on to danger level 2, we have the Gambit, which is an oddly shaped fellow that's basically a walking game of roulette. It's like if that one soundbite, the one that goes, "Let's go gambling," was a living creature, this would be it. The Gambit roams around the hallways, chasing any player that gets in its line of sight. Once you're grabbed, you're lifted up into the air and quite literally forced to gamble with your life. You see, once you're up in the air, the Gambit then opens up its mouth to reveal a roulette wheel. And the best way I could describe it is it's a wheel that's kind of like a pizza, like 8 almost equal spaces. There are 5 colors on the roulette wheel, with each color taking up a different amount of space on the wheel. Each color gives a different result as well, red taking up half the board split amongst 4 pieces, resulting in a loss of 50 HP, green taking up 2 spaces, which is a total of a fourth of the wheel, which gives 25 HP. Landing on yellow, which takes up 1 space, results in a random valuable worth up to $1,100, but according to reports, that number has changed to something worth 5k, which is way worth it now. There are also white and black, which take half a space each, but they have wildly different results. White fully restores your health, while black leaves you with 1 HP. Your best course of action is to try avoiding this monster. However, if you find yourself caught, you're probably better off playing the game, because if the Gambit is attacking while someone's playing the game, it triggers an explosion that'll cause a guaranteed 60 HP in damage. After you're done playing the game, the Gambit will run from the player, probably seeking out other semi-bots ready to go gambling. Next up, we've got the head grab. In its base form, the head grab is a pretty straightforward enemy compared to the other monsters. It kind of reminds me of the up scream in a sense, that it literally goes up to you and just straight up attacks, but instead of screaming you into the air, it either smacks you or drop kicks you. The drop kicks have the ability to send you flying into the wall, causing a little bit more damage, which is why I said it's similar to the up scream too, because the up scream screams and when you hit the wall, you're damaged. But you might be asking, why is it called the head grab anyway? Well, if your friend dies in a game, the head grab will quite literally grab their heads and wear it like a helmet. This gives the head grab a little speed boost, allowing it to attack the players faster. While wearing the head of your dead friend might seem like a good thing for the head grab, it actually is a double-edged sword. Grabbing the head off the head grab will stun it, leaving it vulnerable to attacks. Also, one neat little detail is that if your head is worn by the head grab, you can actually see the head grab's POV, which is, I love the idea that you can see what quite literally your head's doing if someone else wore it. Moving on from the head to the heart, we have our next monster, the Heart Hugger. Aesthetically, the Heart Hugger looks like a Venus flytrap, and if you know what those are, you know that they're actually pretty deadly. The Heart Hugger's head is shaped like a heart, which it uses to its advantage. You see, when you're in its line of sight, the Heart Hugger will spew out this pink mist, and if you're caught by it, you'll start to hallucinate. You start to see the heart-shaped head as a floating heart with a pair of smiling faces, kinda kind-looking, friendly-looking. Your character is given wings and, against its will, is slowly pulled into the Heart Hugger's attacking range. And when you're snapped back into reality, you realize that the Heart Hugger's attacking you. It's a giant mouth that chomps on you, dealing massive damage. The fun part is that while floating towards the Heart Hugger, people have found out that you can still pull out your weapons to attack it, so it's nice knowing that there's still hope even when you're being pulled by a Nightmare Venus flytrap. And last for our Danger Level 2s is the Oogly. The Oogly can be seen flying near the ceiling, shining down spotlights as it surveys the area for any semi-bots. Staying in the spotlight for too long will aggro the Oogly, and it will swoop down to attack the player with a vengeance. You probably won't even notice it swooping down because it is so fast. What's nice is the damage from its hits isn't enough to write home about. However, it's the method of attack that makes it dangerous. Basically, the Oogly grabs you, tosses you around midair, and throws you across the room, which is especially bad if you happen to be in an area with holes in the floor, because if that happens, you're pretty much screwed. Your best course of action is to leave the Oogly alone and not get caught in the spotlight. Now, moving on to the most dangerous level, Danger Level 3. And of the new monsters, all my friends kind of hate this one. It's the Cleanup Crew. You see, as a Halo fan, this big guy kind of reminds me of the Flood Carrier form. They're both kind of like balloon-like up top. Both start chasing you when aggroed or in its line of sight. And most of all, they both explode. When spotted, the Cleanup Crew will throw its own head at you, and the head will home in on the closest player. The head literally rolls and bounces towards them menacingly. And after a few seconds, you'll hear it say, "Uh-oh," which is the last thing you probably want to hear because it is what it says right before it explodes. If you manage to survive the initial explosion, you'll have to run away immediately as the area will now be surrounded by a puff of radiation. And not only that, but the Cleanup Crew's head will regrow and it definitely will be throwing it back at you until you are dead. And for this last monster, let me set the tone for a second. Imagine it's your first game of the session and you're trying the update for the first time. You're doing what you always do, you walk around searching for loot, when all of a sudden, a pair of hands flashes on screen. You're confused, maybe even a little scared, because you have no idea what just happened. But you're still determined to reach your quota. Suddenly, you see a silhouette in the distance. It's gliding across the screen. It looks like the robe, so your instincts take over and you crouch under some furniture to hide and wait for it to pass. However, it doesn't. It slowly glides towards your location. It's a little weird, but you're under some furniture, so you're safe, right? Then it stops, right in front of you. It bends over and its arms reach out towards you. To make matters worse, you finally see its face, and you're frozen in terror. You want to run, but it's too late. The monster claps your semi-bot, and you're dead. Congrats! You've met the Loom. This tall monster is, in my opinion, one of R.E.P.O's creepiest so far, and it definitely scared me when I first met it. There's just something about their face and stare that's just so unsettling. Not only that, but the way it leans over to fit through doorways, tilting its head a bit, makes it infinitely more creepy compared to the other monsters, especially the robe. Thankfully, unlike some of the monsters in R.E.P.O, simply encountering the Loom doesn't necessarily spell doom. That's because the Loom features a unique mechanic, one that no other monster so far has. It locks onto one player and follows them until they're dead. When the Loom spawns, it chooses a player, signified by the hands that briefly flash on the player's screen, and chases them until they're dead. However, there are a few things that will make the Loom stop chasing the targeted player. 1, you manage to break its line of sight and find a place where the Loom literally can't clap you. 2, you manage to avoid its clap several times, resetting its chase timer. Or 3, another player gets way too close to the Loom, provoking the Loom to chase them around instead. Don't do that. It's hard to believe that R.E.P.O released earlier this year, and we've already gotten new features, new and updated locations, and new monsters. At this point, it has to be one of the most actively supported games in its genre. I know people lump R.E.P.O into the recently coined friend slop category, but I don't think that label does it justice. The devs clearly care, they support this game, they support the community, and the constant updates show that they're genuinely invested in the game. It actually makes me appreciate being an early adopter even more, because I know for a fact that I was one of the early people to help them support and bring this game to life. Anyway, what do you think about the new monsters? What updates would you like to see the devs implement next? Personally, I'd love to see another location to round out the selection, maybe even some lore drops. But let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you for watching the leaderboard, your home for video game facts.